All right, guys, before we begin, let's talk about the materials that are going to be needed to create a spray painting. All right, first and foremost, guys, the most important one is going to be your health. So make sure you invest in a mask. Get a heavy duty mask. Make sure that it has filters on the side. The filters are going to be there to protect your lungs. Look how dirty these filters get after a few uses. You don't want that stuff in your lungs. So safety first, guys, get you a mask. Second, get you a magazine, any kind of magazine. It could be a clothing magazine, it doesn't matter. Get you a magazine, you're going to need that for texture, to create terrains, to create different effects. Different size bowls. Yep, you heard me, guys. Look, you can get everyday household items. This is a cup. It's got a sharp edge to it. It's not going to cut you. It's not that kind of sharp. It's just, it doesn't bend inward. It doesn't do this little number. It just comes out nice and straight. This is what you're looking for, guys. It'll help you create better planets with these. So make sure you get different sizes, as there's different size planets out there. This will actually help you create the illusion of depth. All right, different straight edges, guys. This is a 24-inch straight edge, very large. Different sizes, I said. So, you got, I think this is like a 4-inch, 3-inch, and a 2-inch. Different sizes. This is going to help you create some water, some starbursts. The straight edges are very vital to create different effects. My handy dandy tools. Those are the Spraycasso tools, guys. This is the one I had specially made for us. And guys, it's got a nice 45-degree angle to it, so you can create different terrains. You could create little space castles, grids with it, fine details. This is very useful. You can get these at my website. This is a soft tip Spraycasso tool. You can also get this at the website. This is used mostly to create terrains, some very realistic looking water effects with it as well. Guys, you don't have to buy it from my website. Get you a popsicle stick, cut it, nice 45-degree angle, and it does the exact same thing. So you guys, look at that. You guys don't have to go to my site. You can make your own. Sea sponge. Guys, this is very, very useful for creating plant life, for creating different effects when it comes to the water, clouds. This is a tool that we're going to get more in depth as we proceed into beginner, as we leave beginner and enter intermediate level spray paintings. Sea sponge. You're going to need some masking tape. Masking tape will help you create different frames, can help you protect certain areas that you don't want spray paint landing on. So don't get duct tape, guys. Duct tape is very harsh. It'll stick to your paint. Once you remove it, that's it. So masking tape or painter's tape. The Spraycasso funnel, another one of my creations. All right. The funnel is made very easily. Guys, you remember those magazine sheets we talked about? Get your magazine sheet. There you go. Create you a little funnel with it. Just like that. Make sure you leave a nice opening there. I'm going to use duct tape, but I don't intend on removing it. So get a piece of duct tape, hold it in place. Look at this. You fold this inward to hold your paint. And then you start taping it. Look how fast, how easy it is to make, guys. You have your nice little entry. You put your paint here, and it funnels it through there. So it allows you to create very fine details, especially when creating plant life, trees. You can actually draw in little characters. We'll get more in depth into it, but it's very important, very useful. I think, and your favorite brand, guys, the most important thing, one of the most important things, your favorite brand of spray paints. We're only going to use the basics to begin. So we're going to use the blue, orange, clear coat, guys, white, get you an extra white. We go through white and black a lot more. Black, red, green, and yellow. Guys, make sure you have a nice variety of colors. And poster board. Poster board is going to be your medium. Now, I've been asked this question many, many times. What side of the poster board do I paint on? You want to do it on the glossy side, not the matted side. Listen to the difference. Yeah, see? You want to use the glossy side, guys. Why? Because the paint is able to be retained there for a little bit longer than on the matted side. The matted side is going to absorb the paint. So make sure you spray paint on your glossy side. All right, guys. I think we're ready. As you can tell, my hands do get a little messy with the spray paint. So if you guys want to prevent that, you can get vinyl gloves, latex gloves, whatever. If you want to protect your hands, I recommend it. If you're like me, I don't really mind it a lot. I really don't. So, if you guys are ready, grab your spray paints, your materials. What do you say we begin? This is a flat board. It has a really high gloss end, and even the back is high gloss as well. You can use both ends actually. It's up to you, whichever one you prefer. I'll use the white only because I'm used to painting on a white canvas, white background. The other product, and I want to thank you guys so much for all your support on this, is my actual brand of spray paints. Now, I was only able to afford, and I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth, the small cans. So I only ordered enough batches to get a couple batches of the small cans, rather than just get 2 or 3 batches of the larger cans. I went with the small ones. I want people to go out there and try them out. I think today they sold out on the web. So thank you guys for all your support. That money is gonna go into that. We're gonna be investing into bigger cans, better labels, you name it. These cans are awesome, and I love them. This has been a work in progress, but as you guys may know, I use a major spray paint manufacturer to do a private label of my paints. And to do that, well, you have to change the mixture a little bit. These paints are all gloss. When you're spray painting, guys, you want to go with gloss or semi-gloss. I always go with gloss. Semi-gloss works just as well. It's good. You don't want to go with anything matted. So anyways, I actually added a little bit more colors to the palette that I use. Usually I just stick with the basic colors, right? Orange, red, blue, white, yellow, black, green, and clear coat. Well, I went ahead and I added purple and pink. Those are going to help us create some kick butt effects on our paintings. I mean, the more colors you get, the more colors you can mix with those. If you need a darker purple, you just mix black with purple, so on and so forth. So it's going to give us a wider range on our color palette. All right, so without further ado, what do you guys say we concentrate on our painting that we're about to do? All right, so I have a pretty good idea. More or less, I always say this. Paintings paint themselves, right? I know. So I'm going to begin. Just going to add a little bit of orange. I know what I want to create. More or less, I have an idea of how I want this to look. Doesn't always work out that way. Just going to add some orange. Some yellow. And a little bit of red. Now, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think our neutral color, I'm going to use our gloss black. Go on top of that. And that. I like it. All right. See, that's why my hands are always the way they are. Always. All right. I'll put this down. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's the outer. That's how our planet's gonna look like. It's gonna add a little bit of black on the edges just to give it that 3D look. Right? Remember, when you put this down, you don't want to put a whole lot of pressure onto it. Just let it go. All right? You don't want to put pressure on it because when you do that, you're going to remove a little bit of that planet with you. And it's going to leave some areas or sometimes the entire circle. So you just want to lay it down very gently. Ah, crap. My fingers got stuck. All right. So look at that. See what happened there? And here a little bit? Well, we can correct that. Well, we can correct this bottom one right here. Just add a little bit of it. Make sure my fingers are not sticky. I'll use my left hand. I want to avoid those white marks up there. So I'm just going to put this down right here. Just like that. Okay, guys. Make sure your fingers aren't sticky. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I think I want to go with, I want to make a very colorful background. Right. First of all, let's concentrate on making our planet round. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to make sure you use a dark color to go all around it. In this case, we're going to be using our black. Now, I've been wanting to try the new purple. So, I'm going to add, let's see, how do I want this? Blam, 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 blam. Maybe just a little bit. Oh, let me move the cans out of the way. Let's move these cans. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to add some of this purple here. Look at that. Look how vibrant that is. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit of this blue just to kind of make a transition. From like a blue to this purple. Oh heck. While we're at it, I want to try the pink. I mean, while we're at it. Look at that. I like that. You know what would look pretty cool? If we do this transition, which I love the way it's coming out, and we transition it into some black. Now notice, guys, how I do quick sprays. Spray, 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 spray. It's not just psst. It's spray, 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 spray. It kind of reminds me of those old cartoons, you know, when you see a guy in a trench coat hanging by the alley going, psst, hey, psst, 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 psst. All right, yeah, it's retarded, I know. All right, we're going to use a little bit of white. Remember how to create stars, guys, 45-degree angle. Now this is a new can, so, oh, I take it back, works great. Usually, when a can is new, you'll realize, or you'll see, that it's very hard to make it sputter. I mean, you have a bunch of sprays coming out. All right, awesome. Now then, you guys ready to see what we created? We're gonna add other layers on top of it, but I'm eager to see what we created. Look at that. I love, and it's not too bright. I didn't want it to be overpoweringly bright. So I really enjoy the color, and I'm thinking we can create, what do you guys think? Nice little mountain in the background. We can create a pyramid. I don't know. Let's see what happens. We're going to use our handy dandy soft tip tool. Now, this is what I love about this. So look at that. You just clean it right off. Of course, it all gets stuck on your fingers. No, I'm kidding. On my fingers, well, I spray paint a lot, guys, as you can tell. So I'm constantly painting. I'm constantly practicing and doing other techniques. And so that's why in most of my tutorials, you'll see that I've already been spray painting, having my fun. And then I say, you know what? Let me bring in the rest of the crew with me. Let's all have some fun. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create some pretty bright mountains. I'm going to add a little bit of orange. Maybe not too bright. I'll add a little bit of black. What happens when you mix orange with black, guys? You get brown. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use handy dandy soft tip tool. Look how easy it is to manipulate the media. Now, what it's doing here is we're actually combining some of the colors that are underneath, with the colors that we're adding here. So it's going to give us this very cool looking texture to it. And this is a little more advanced technique on creating mountains textures. Again, we mix the two. This is your world, guys. Your imagination. Have fun with it. Picture yourself in a place where you'd like to be. That's what I do. I've said this many times. When I do something like this, I usually try and picture myself like I'm sitting on a lawn chair. I don't even own a lawn chair, guys. I'm not kidding. In real life, I don't even own a lawn chair. But I always picture I'm sitting on a lawn chair and I'm painting. I'm painting. I'm watching the scenery that I'm painting. Cool. Now see, what you're gonna want to do is you get your clear coat, a little bit of clear coat there, and you want to be able to smear these colors together, just like that. And this tool is perfect for that. It doesn't just scratch out. It's not like it's gonna leave you with all the negative space underneath. No, you're actually blending and mixing some of these colors together. See that? And that's what you want. It'll give you a nice fading effect between colors, between contrasts. Let me show you this. We'll add a little bit of orange with a tad of yellow. Come here. This will give us a nice, bright highlights. Well, you don't want them to be too bright either, but move some of these cans out of the way. See, guys, a lot better, easier way of creating highlights rather than scratching. Scratching, it's okay if you're a beginner. Now, don't get me wrong. Scratching is definitely a very important technique to learn, especially when you're spray painting live, because sometimes you're able to create some very cool looking textures, highlights, when you don't have a whole lot of time. Okay, what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm going back and forth with some of our highlighted areas just to make them look a little rougher, better, more texture to them. See that? I live in Colorado, so we have the Rockies here, and beautiful mountains. Oh my God, I love them. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, as you guys might know, I had my PBS show in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we have the Sandia Mountains there, which I definitely love too. Two different styles of mountains, though, I think, and very unique, each one. I'm adding a little bit of red and some orange. And that's something I've been wanting to try to paint, the Rockies. I painted the Sandia Mountains, but now I want to do the Rockies. And the reason I'm saying Rockies is because this is reminding me of the textures, the techniques that I'm going to be using to creating those mountains. And I definitely encourage you guys, if you guys have some mountains in your hometown, or you don't necessarily have to have mountains in your own town that you might want to give it a go, just make up your own, like we're doing here. Just make up your own. Just picture some random mountains. Let the tool do the driving. You just get on here and you create some minor highlights, and before you know it, it'll begin to start taking shape. Look at that. We could have added, instead of these bright colors, we could have added white, made it look like it was snow. Look at that. All right. So we want to do, you know what? The more I look at this, the more I want to put a reflection down here. So I want to create something like this right there. Kind of like a reflection of what's going on top. Now, if we're going to do that, you're going to want to use your straight edge and duplicate the colors that you see on top. Yeah, well, I don't want these colors to get onto that painting side. So let's see. If you were to mirror this, I would see definitely some blue here. I would see some purple here. And I would see, let's see, oh, some of the pink up here. And of course, we would see some of the black here. Now, this doesn't have to be completely perfect, guys. It really, really doesn't. Put this right back. I do want it to have some of the stars. We're gonna go on top of this anyways and add another layer of take our jams. We want to add another layer of ripples so that it doesn't look like it's just like a mirror of a lake or anything like that. See, and that's why I'm always covered in spray paint. The wife hates it. All right, it doesn't really bother me a whole lot, but it definitely bothers her. You're saying, okay, well, Spray, we have an issue here. What happened to the planet? Well, remember how we did this whole thing with the planet? We're going to do the exact same thing on here. We're going to add the colors. We're going to go back and kind of smear it together. It doesn't have to look identical. It just has to look pretty close. So first of all, I'm going to add some yellow. I'm going to add, what do I have there? Some red, it looks like. And then, oh, some purple. And some red again. I'm just going by what the colors I see over there. Then, if I'm not mistaken, we covered this with our black. And then we'll go back and add. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now I'm missing the shadow, but that's no biggie. Because what I'm going to do here, add some of the shadow. All right, so we had a little spray paint chip land on the painting. Yeah, so the way we removed that, little handy dandy tool, picked it up with one corner, threw it away, and then we spray painted black right where it landed, just so that it doesn't, stand out in any other way. All right, now using some orange, make sure there's no other chips coming our way. Using a little bit of orange and some red. Yeah, first step. I'm gonna break. See, I don't like it. I've never liked it when you have a straight line going across. Now that we're doing a little more advanced paintings, we want to make sure that our terrain is broken up. What does that mean? Well, you don't want to have a very straight line. You can't go out in nature and see something like that. If you do, it's very rare. So what you want to do, you want to break it up. You want to add a couple of terrains going into it. Then go. We'll add some more terrain closer to us. What I like calling bringing it home. Those are the layers that are getting closer to you, more detailed. In this case, we have this alien terrain. Kind of, have you guys ever seen that movie? I read the book. I haven't seen the movie yet. The Martian. It's awesome. Well, if it's anything like the book, it's awesome. And this is more or less where I get the idea of red mountains. He goes into great detail with it. We'll go back and we'll add some highlights to these. But you want to break up the ground. You don't want it to be a complete straight line. Now, I'll show you a cool little trick. We'll go with some blue and some white. Soft tip tool. We'll clean it out. Very easy to clean, guys. Look at this. Like new. Yeah. So I'll dip into some blue and white here. Just add some little bit of lines here on the side. I don't want to do a whole lot. Just enough where you can tell that there's water here. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can hear the tool squeaking when I run it into here. That sounds so cool. This goes to show you how glossy this is. All right. Like this. I'm gonna add a little bit of orange. Tell you what, I'm gonna mix it with some of that blue. We're gonna add another terrain. Perhaps this terrain is closer to us. Add it here. And it's giving us a darker red. Look at that. I like this. It's very rocky. Maybe notice how it's mixing with some of that blue that I have underneath. We'll make this terrain closer to us. Now what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm breaking up not only the straight line that we had down there, but now I'm adding other terrains, overlapping terrains. And this tool just makes it very easy for me to do that. And it gives it great texture too. Now if I want to give it the illusion that there is water ripples here, add a little bit of clear coat. With our handy dandy tool, we can just come in here And look, create those ripples. See that? Do that above. Now, you guys remember another technique that we use to create an intermediate to advanced level technique for creating terrain. That's when we use a magazine sheet. Tear off a piece of it. Use the same colors that we're using here. A little bit of orange. In this case, I'm going to use a little bit of black. Piece of magazine. I'm going to tap into it. Let's come over here and look at that. Look at that wonderful texture it's giving us. I think I'm going to create it here. Yeah. I think we're going to use a little more orange, some black. We're going to create, well, I tell you what, maybe we'll make this terrain a little bit brighter here. Okay. And maybe just add a little bit more right here. I'm trying to figure out the flow of this. So you have some mountains in the background, you have this piece of land that is closer to us, and then you have this one. I'm almost wanting to put maybe just a small piece here to symbolize that it kind of comes across. Sometimes this is well, actually this is the exact technique that I use when I'm creating a painting. I sit back, I imagine it, and then as you're working, it starts to take its own shape. Look at that. A little more highlight. So we are using nothing more than magazine sheets to help us create the terrain, some of the highlights, our tool. It's there. Of course, the tool works better in certain areas. So what we're doing here, we're just tapping into some orange, adding some highlights throughout our painting. Now remember guys, the highlights become a little more visible if you have a light source. In this case, I did not add a light source like, something behind our planet or anything. This light source is coming from this direction. So, you really emphasize the highlights whenever you have this. In this case, I'm not really emphasizing them a whole lot. I'm just adding a little bit of, look at that. Pretty awesome, huh? All right. Now you can add some of those same highlights onto the water. So a little bit of orange. Oh, we got some more paint chips coming our way. All right, a little bit of orange. And you just create like a little white tap on here. See that? And then you start bringing it onto the water. Look at that. Again, guys, if you had like a really bright light source, in this case like an orange light source from this direction just coming, hitting the water, then I would add a lot more orange on the water just to add the effect of water ripples reflecting the light. Again, if that was an orange light source, if it was a yellow light source, I would use yellow, so on and so forth. Blue. You want to stay consistent with those. But for now, I think this is a nice intermediate level tutorial that'll show you how to create mountains, a little more realistic mountains than the beginner level techniques where we created mountains in the past. You're able to create different land terrains. Look at that. You have this one in the background, this one overlapping it, and then you start working your way. You start bringing it home, right? You start bringing it closer to you. Now, the further the mounts are, the more lighter they're gonna get. So you know, I'll probably show you this in the next tutorial. To create the effect that they're off in the distance, you would use a straight edge and then maybe some white to create the effect of a vanishing point. You lighten them up a little bit. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. Oh, this is the paint that gets stuck underneath. Here we go. All right, crew. Well, until next time, keep those hands shaking. Always wear your mask. We'll see you soon.